Hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And holiday cards. My 2026 holiday card making series, which, if you've followed me for a while, you know this, but if you're new here, first off, welcome. Welcome to the chaos. I started doing it last year after tons of requests, doing at least one holiday video a month throughout the year. Leading up to, the big old holiday crunch. I actually really enjoyed it last year. Every other year, I'm just like, I'm done with holiday stuff as soon as they're over. But did it last year, had great intentions this year, and I got really sick back in March and just, it derailed everything. And I haven't been back to it since. But I got one for y'all today, so we'll call this my June one. I always say on or around the 25th of each month. Because I can't even stick to the day. Life. But on or around the 25th of each month, I would post a holiday card video. And with the idea that it just builds up over the year and then I don't have to scramble so much. And it's just nice. So I'm sad that I missed a couple of months, but we're getting back into it. And I'm going to make up for it in July. I've already kind of given people a heads up. There's some good stuff coming in July. Anyway. I used a mix of some newer products, a couple of oldie but goodie favorites that I've already done many videos on, pulled out some pattern paper, a little bit of splatter, all the good things. So everything I used will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. I will pop my little, I think I have a playlist started because this is only like the third of this year. I can't remember if I even started a playlist. If I haven't, I will start one for this year's holiday playlist. I have many years of many holiday cards playlists on my YouTube channel. Tons and tons of ideas. But I will pop that in the end screen, or at least the previous videos. I'll figure it out. So that'll be in the end screen. All the links to everything I used will be in the description box below. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links and end up placing an order, I get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. It is what helps pay the bills, keeps lights on, enables me to keep bringing out content. And yeah, let's get into making some holiday cards. Okay, so in the Simon Says Stamp Shine On release for June, there was this stencil set. This is the Artful Palette Christmas stencil set. And if you remember, there was a different set of stencils with different shapes that came out, it was like at the beginning of this year in a card kit. I've did videos on them and I quite enjoyed them. And now we've got these ones, which are all like circles. And there is also a coordinating die set that has more than just circles. There's a bunch of different shapes. I'll link to it. I don't have it. So I just pulled circle wafer dies out of my stash that would work. And then for pattern paper, I'm using the Tim Holtz idea-ology palette papers in red and green. I had this like kind of planned with using other things. And then I got this, stencil set and I was like, oh, perfection. Love it. Because this is a fun way to use pattern papers. So I went through the packs and pulled out several different patterns from each pack. So I've got like a little bit of a variety. And then I chose two of the different stencils from that Artful Palette Christmas set that I wanted to use as my layout guide. You can use the stencils as actual stencils if you want. They're like meant to be sort of layout guides, but then you can use them as stencils too. Why not? So I went through the different patterns and picked out just different ones. And then I would just make little piles of cardstock with each of the different sizes of circles, and didn't bother filming all the rest of it because it takes a hot minute, and then I do a bunch of die cutting. And while I was die cutting, I was also die cutting everything else, specifically my backgrounds, which this is an oldie but goodie favorite. This is the Snowflake Burst Pinpoint plate that I've used in many videos. Many. It's one of my favorites. I love it. I love me a good, background wafer die that does like piercing details, all those things. I'm here for it. So I die cut that from Neenah Desert Storm, 100-pound cardstock. And then I've got all of my die cut circles of pattern paper. And I was going to do this with black ink. this is like, an old trick that started more in like the scrapbooking world. And I've always loved it because it helps define sort of the edges of pattern papers and things when you're layering them without adding any extra bulk. And I was going to do black, like I said, but instead I grabbed walnut stain because a lot of times when I'm working with like specifically like Tim Holtz idea-ology type products, it starts to bring out the grunge, I love grunge. It's just not something I do hardly ever, but it's fun. It is fun. So I've got a little walnut stain cube ink here, which mine, for whatever reason, was crazy juicy when I was making these. I don't know why. It was weird. I haven't re-inked this one like ever. It was juicy, which is fine. I went direct to paper with it just to, like I said, define those edges of the pattern paper. And then while I was doing it, I was like, ooh, I want to put it on the background as well, just to add that extra little bit of grunge. And then using the stencil, laid out all my pieces, which this is why I love these sorts of stencil sets. It's fun and it's different layouts that I would never think of, especially with something like circles. I would not, this is not how my brain works. So this was fun. So I just glued all of the pieces to the background. I did the same thing with the second background, the different layout. You'll see it in a minute. And then another oldie but goodie favorite that I've done many videos on because, there's certain things that I just can't stop using. And this one is the tall Poinsettia wafer dies. And I die cut the stem portion from Rainbow Splash Emerald cardstock. And then I'm blending on 2 different shades of green inks. They're Pawsitively Saturated Inks I started with Pine and then Kale. It's just deep greens, to add that bit of depth to these die cut pieces. And then for the poinsettia itself, I die cut that from the Rainbow Splash Scarlet? Scarlet or Crimson? I always get those two mixed up. Crimson cardstock. And then also blending inks onto them. Specifically, I went with Punch, Sangria, and Cabernet. And just slapping that ink on. Starting with the lightest, working my way to the medium shade and the darkest shade. Again, to build depth. This will, both of these, like the red shades and the green, these inks do soften a bit. They dry back. So they'll be lighter when it's fully dry. So if you want like certain amounts of depth, you just always need to go darker than you would expect. But I just want that bit of like depth and also to tone both of these cardstocks down a bit as they were a little more vibrant than the pattern papers I was using. So this just softens everything a little bit, grunges it to a degree. I didn't add the walnut staining to these. I thought about it, but then I was like, no, I'm happy with the little bit of grunge that I did. So once I was done blending, and I die cut the flower portions like twice, so that I'll have like much fuller ones. And then once those were cut out, I had already adhered the card fronts to the card bases, which are also Desert Storm cardstock, and these are A2 cards, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And then adhered my stems, and then built up the actual little florals. And like I said, I die cut everything twice so I can make them fuller. And I love it. I love it. It's fun. This die set's just, again, it's one of my favorites. It's another one of those weird things though, especially for me, like, snowflake wafer dies, butterflies, dragonflies, poinsettias. Can't have too many. They're all different and they're all fun. I love them all. Anyway, after I got them all adhered, we will start with some white splatter. So I put these into my splat box. I've got the Positively Perfect white splatter medium. Needs to be stirred up because all that pigment settles to the bottom. So I stirred that up really well. I have a new jar of it. I had almost none left in the last one, which I mostly used up. I did spill some of it. I posted about that a few weeks ago. But what was left in the previous jar, I actually just poured into this one because there wasn't that much left. And now I've got a nice full one. And yeah, don't let them fall over, even if the lid is on, because liquids, y'all. Keep your liquid craft products stored upright. Learn from my mistakes. Actually, I knew that. I just knocked it over and didn't realize, and it leaked. So, anywho, splattered both these cards fairly heavily with the white splatter. And then I used the Positively Perfect Gold splatter medium. And same thing, this needs to be stirred up. The gold and the silver ones are fun just because it's kind of like magic as the pigment gets fully dispersed, you know? It's just I literally edit out how long I will sit and stir because I just zone out and I'm just like, it's pretty. So anyway, added a bit of gold splatter to these and then set them aside. And while they were drying, I'm going to stamp my sentiments. And the sentiment set, this was also in the like June release. It's the Nostalgic Christmas Greetings stamp set, and then there's a coordinating die set. So I chose some of the sentiments from the set, and I'm going to stamp them onto scraps of the same Desert Storm cardstock, and I'm going to just stamp these with the Walnut stain ink. Distress inks, rule of thumb, they're not the greatest for stamping because that's not how they're formulated. But with stamp positioners where you can like ink up and stamp more than once, they're fine. It just kind of depends on the things. But yeah, like solid images, I wouldn't reach for distress inks. I would use oxides or like positively saturated inks, etc., etc. Like ones meant for stamping. But for things like sentiments and some outlines and that, usually they're fine. So that's what I did. Inked it up with the walnut stain and just inked them up and stamped them twice. And then after I'd stamped them, I had die cut them with the coordinating wafer dies, and then I die cut scraps with the same wafer dies to adhere together and put behind the sentiments so that these can be, you know, bumped up a little bit, give them a little bit more dimension. And especially sentiments like this and die cuts like this, that like die cuts so close to the sentiments, I would much rather just die cut scraps than even attempt to put little bits of like foam tape behind them because I don't have the patience for that. It's faster to just die cut scraps and glue them together, which is what I did. So glued all my layers together there, and then I can adhere these to my card fronts. And while that splatter was drying, I also die cut more circles from those pattern papers and then edged them with the walnut stain distress ink so that I can put these on the insides of the cards, you know, to give them that little extra something so they're not just plain. So I kind of figured out just random layouts with these, and I'm just going to adhere these onto the insides of the cards, just making sure there's enough space, you know, to write things. And then I flip over the card and trim off the little bits I left like hanging over the edge. And then the final sentiment I had like stamped and die cut that one and then adhered versus just stamping it onto the inside of the card. Again, this is just depends on my mood, but I kind of like how it looks with specifically like the Desert Storm on Desert Storm cardstock, like with the sentiment on the inside. I don't know. It almost makes it look like it's embossed in an odd way, and I was here for it. So once that was adhered, my final embellishment is to add like a little bit of bling and also flower centers to these because they need something. And for that, I pulled out some like gold glitter drops from my stash. These are clear little rhinestones with actual like glitter like embedded into them. Perfect for holiday cards. Perfect for everything. You can't go wrong with something a little sparkly. So I'm going to adhere these into place with liquid glue. And once the glue dries, it dries completely clear. So then it just looks pretty, especially on like the flower centers. It looks a little weird when the glue is still wet and it's like, this might not work. But once you let the glue fully dry, it looks perfect. Love it. So got those in place, let the glue dry, and these cards were complete. So I got a couple more Christmas cards to add to my stash. And yeah, stay tuned. There'll be more videos coming. Like I mentioned in the intro, I'll have links to all the things in the description box below, so you can just expand it and check it out if you are interested. And yeah, I appreciate you all a ton. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping, commenting, letting them robot overlords know that you like what you see. It does actually help. I joke about it, but it helps and I appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And I will see you all very soon in another video. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!